Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stink King Sports. I'm your host, Nicholas Stink King. We're back today. Got a lot of sports to catch up on. Got a lot of sports in a couple of days that matter a lot, that being the NFL and the MLB. But let's start off with the conclusion of the NBA season, which saw the Los Angeles Lakers defeat the Miami Heat in 6 games in the NBA Finals. LeBron winning his fourth ring and fourth Finals MVP. Now, that adds to LeBron's GOAT conversation. We're going to go over that a little bit right now. LeBron and MJ have been in the GOAT conversation for the past couple of years now, and I don't think LeBron has caught him yet. And yet, I think he could catch him, but I don't think he will because MJ just has that killer instinct that LeBron does not have. And LeBron, though he is a great player, no disrespect to him, Michael Jordan is arguably the clutchest athlete of all time. And he had that killer instinct that took LeBron to develop. It took a long time for LeBron to develop. So I feel like MJ, just on that reason alone, is better, but we're going to go over a couple more. LeBron has had 22 All-Star teammates while Jordan has only had 4. Now, those 4 being Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, George Gervin, and Artis Gilmore. A little bit of trivia for you right there. LeBron, on the other hand, has had All-Star teammates with the likes of Kyrie Irving, Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, and of course now Anthony Davis, just to name a few. Jordan also had 2 three-peats, which LeBron has not had, of course. And Jordan, would arguably have won 7 or 8 championships had he not went and played baseball for the Chicago White Sox organization. Finally, I got 2 more points. Jordan never really bounced around to win his championships. However, LeBron has been to 3 different cities, and that's not really a key reason. Though he did have to go to South Beach and team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to win his first couple. I feel like that is a little shaky because he did right there join a super team. But I'll give that one to him. But my final reason, and this one is kind of key to me. Jordan, you never really saw complain, and I haven't heard stories about him complaining too often. However, LeBron, you see after every whistle or every not even a whistle, is complaining to the referees about a foul or about a missed foul, and it makes it look really pitiful on the court sometimes. It really does, and it really hurts his legacy because half the time you see LeBron just holding his hands up, looking dumbfounded at a missed call. Overall, though, congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers on winning the championship. LeBron is still a great player, probably the second best all time. And overall, he probably has a chance to win 1 or 2 more with Anthony Davis on his side. Moving on to the MLB, we're going to start off with the ALCS, which sees the Rays versus the Astros. Now, the Rays have a 3-2 series lead, though they have slipped in the past 2 games, giving both those games to the Astros, and very tight games as well. Last night, we saw Carlos Correa hit a walk-off home run, and Game 4, we saw how Jose Altuve and George Springer, both who had 2-run home runs, lifted the Houston Astros over the Tampa Bay Rays. Now tonight, we see Blake Snell versus Framber Valdez. And personally, I think Blake Snell's a great pitcher, and I like him a lot more than Valdez. That's the only reason I really have the Rays win this game, as well as the Rays outfielder Randy Arozarena, who's the Cuban who's absolutely playing out of his mind. His postseason is like Anthony Rendon's last year. He's batting .412 in 12 postseason games with 6 home runs, tying the rookie record with Evan Longoria in 2008 for most home runs in a postseason. Now, the Rays offense looking great right now. I don't see that the Astros can win 4 in a row against them, and I feel like it ends tonight. And I think the Rays, the story of the postseason right now being Arozarena, moves on to the World Series to face the winner of the Dodgers-Braves series. The Braves are up 3-1 in this series. Let's start talking about the NLCS with that bridge right there. The Braves have been tearing it up offensively. Marcell Ozuna, just last night alone, 4 for 5, 2 home runs, a double. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. In retrospect, probably the best signing of the offseason so far in the 2019 offseason. And just an absolute monstrous 10-2 Game 4 win by the Braves. Now, the Dodgers' $227 million lineup is not performing in the postseason once again. We are seeing their postseason woes continue and continue and continue as we've seen over the past couple of years, and we are seeing Clayton Kershaw continue to crumble in the postseason. What I mean is, last night in his start, he gave up 4 runs, and by no means is he responsible for the loss that the Dodgers took last night. Their bullpen is horrible. On paper, you could argue that the Dodgers have the best starting pitching and offensive lineup, but their bullpen is awful. Kenley Jansen seems to have lost his touch. You can see that the Dodgers don't trust him. Roberts doesn't put him in as often, and he's lost it. And their bullpen overall has been horrible this postseason, been not too great and reliable in the regular season. And they're just looking rather poor. Kershaw, as we know, has had postseason woes, especially against Daniel Murphy in 2015 and last year against the Nationals in the top of the eighth inning versus Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto. And arguably, Kershaw's the greatest regular season MLB pitcher ever. But in the postseason, it's a completely different story. He really falls apart. He really does, and it really hurts his legacy as the greatest pitcher ever. And I don't think he is. I don't know who I would put there. You could put Randy Johnson, the big unit. You could put Nolan Ryan, Cy Young, whomever. I never saw any of them play. Kershaw is the best I've seen ever. You could say Scherzer maybe. But honestly, Kershaw's an absolute monster, except in the postseason. And his lack of a reign and his lack of a postseason record, a good postseason record, really hurts him. And just the Dodgers bats have to be better. If you're going to pay your team $227 million and you have Cody Bellinger and Mookie Betts, and you talk all this up in the offseason, not saying the Dodgers talk, but they're so hyped up, and they fall like this in games 1 and 4 with a combined 3 runs. I mean, that's unacceptable, honestly. The Dodgers should be doing much better. They have a great roster, and they're underperforming again and again and again. And they keep adding bats, and they continue to underperform. And that's not saying the series is over. They could still come back, but right now they're looking rather pitiful. And that leads me to my next point. I don't think they come back. I really don't. I think they win tonight. Dustin May is getting the start, and the Braves have no definite starter at the time I'm recording this video. However, I feel like the Braves will win it in 6 or 7. I don't feel like they slip up this bad. I feel like they keep the pressure on the Dodgers, and the Dodgers bullpen is just so horrible that I just feel like the Braves are going to take advantage of that in the later innings. Now, the World Series, I feel like between who I have right now is the Rays and the Braves. That could easily change. We know my predictions, as we saw with the NBA playoffs. I couldn't have been more wrong. However, I do like the Rays in about 5 games. I think their pitching and their batting is just far better right now than the Braves. I think the Braves have a lot of potential in the future. They have a lot of young stars. But right now, I think it's the Rays' time. And I think they win the World Series in 5 games. And I feel like the Rays bullpen as well, I didn't mention, is also a lot better than the Braves. Now let's move on to the NFL, where we have a lot of news. Le'Veon Bell was cut by the Jets on Tuesday night and was picked up by the Chiefs yesterday, making their offense even scarier, which is really, really difficult to do. However, their defense is a spot of worry, which is what I'd be concerned about as a Chiefs fan. They let up 40-plus points, more than 40 points to the Raiders on Sunday in their first loss. They didn't get a lot of pressure from the Chris Jones injury, and Sorensen, in my opinion, is a liability. He let up a lot of deep balls. However, I still wouldn't want to face the Chiefs as any NFL team. Their offense is an absolute Goliath, and their team is a Goliath. They have a very good coach, and they're still arguably the best team in the NFL. As well in the NFL, Alex Smith returned to the field Sunday against the Rams for the first time after his gruesome leg injury. Great for him, but he did not look too well, honestly. He did not look too good. He didn't get many opportunities to pass it down the field, let's be honest. He was 9 for 17 with 37 yards, but I feel like he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year. I feel like everybody thinks that right now, especially after the journey he went through. I don't blame him. I think he deserves it. It was a heck of a path that he took to get there. He could almost had his leg amputated, could have died, and he's playing football. So all the respect in the world to Alex Smith, but not all the respect in the world to Dwayne Haskins, who has not arrived at the Washington facility really since being demoted to third string due to a quote-unquote stomach bug. While your coach is battling cancer, you can't go to practice because you have a stomach bug. Man, that is a wimp move. Man up, Dwayne. Get your ass on the field and quit complaining about a stomach bug. Grow a pair and quit pounding. That is pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. Your coach is battling cancer and you can't show up to practice because, in my opinion, I think you're pouting. I mean, it's ridiculous. Get on the field. And just to add on to the Washington football team scenario at quarterback, Kyle Allen has been named the starter versus the Giants. Moving on with gruesome quarterback injuries, honestly, Dak Prescott suffered a compound fracture and a dislocated ankle on Sunday. He had surgery with success. He's in good spirits, and I hope he gets well soon, honestly. He's been through a lot, and I think I think he was having a great year, a really show-out year for the Cowboys, though they're in a weak division. Their defense is horrible. And I think the Cowboys still have a chance. Andy Dalton as a sneaky pickup in the offseason as their backup is not a bad backup at all. He's one of the better backups in the league, and I mean he's a sufficeable quarterback for the Cowboys, who have a lot of offensive weapons, and considering their division, they have a great chance to make it into the postseason. Now, let's move on to the power rankings for week 6, right before week 6. At number 10, I have the Chicago Bears at 4-1. They're a surprise team so far, and the only reason I have them here is because of that great win against the Bucs on Thursday night. That's a key win right now. They absolutely, Brady looked kind of flustered at some points. Their defense is still good. Khalil Mack is a potential Hall of Famer, in my opinion. And Montgomery's looking good. Robinson's a beast, and Foles is a huge upgrade from Trubisky. Right now, the Bears are looking good. You can't deny their 4-1 record. I don't feel like they'll sustain this, honestly, but right now I have them as a 10th spot in the NFL. Moving up to number 9, I have the Los Angeles Rams, and don't sleep on Jared Goff. He's lighting it up. However, he has played 4 NFC East teams, arguably the worst division, hands down, in football. He's looking great. The Rams defense is awesome. Aaron Donald is a future Hall of Famer, hands down. I just need to see more. They haven't really played anybody. Their running game is good enough. The receiver core is doing their job, and Sean McVay is a phenomenal coach. Just the lack of teams played hurting their rankings. However, I can't wait to see them play the Seahawks twice, the Cardinals, and the Patriots. Those are going to be great games. I'm excited for those. Rams, number 9 in the power rankings. Moving on to number 8, the Cleveland Browns finally living up to the potential. Odell Beckham and Jarvis Juice Landry, are actually tearing it up for the passing game. Baker's looking a lot better. Only has 4 interceptions. Still a little too much, in my opinion. He's 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's looking a lot better, though, a lot smarter. And the Browns have the best running back duo in the game with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Their defense is their weak spot. It's a little scary. However, Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward are game-changing players. And they have a big game against Pittsburgh on Sunday. Can't wait to watch. That's going to be must-see TV. It's a huge game for the Browns. They haven't had a game like this in a couple of years. And I think the city of Cleveland's excited, and they should be. Their team is looking great. They're 4-1. They're finally living up to the potential. Cleveland, number 8 in the league right now. And number 7, I have the Bills, who are 4-1, and boy, did Josh Allen look overwhelmed on Monday night. I mean, he had 2 interceptions, should have had more. Let's put it like that. That last interception to Malcolm Butler, I don't know what happened there, but their defense is still elite. I still think they win the AFC East. However, it was a rough outing for the Bills on Monday night, which really warrants their fall here to number 7. I still think Allen is a top 10 QB. But that loss was tough. It was a little bit pitiful, honestly, and that is why they fall because of it. I still like them a lot, though. I really do. They have a chance to be in the AFC Championship. I'm not going to deny that. At number 6, I have the Baltimore Ravens. They're 4-1. They have a great defense. They have a strong running game. However, their wide receiver core just is not too great. I really don't like Hollywood Brown as more than a deep threat. I don't really see him going over the middle, catching highly contested balls. Miles Boykin is kind of like that guy for them. However, I haven't seen enough out of him yet either. They do have their one loss, though, is to the arguably the best team in the AFC, that being the Kansas City Chiefs. But Lamar looked horrible that game. And honestly, he's not looking like the Lamar that we saw last year. He looks a little off. He's missing a lot of passes. He only had 17 yards against the Chiefs in that game. And we're over that. But he just looks a little off. He has 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which by no means is bad. That's highly respectable. And he blew out the Browns, which really aged into a great win. However, he just looks a little off. He's missing some passes, and I don't feel like right now he's in the conversation for the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. And we're going to get to those top 3 quarterbacks in the league in a short minute. And number 5, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3 AFC North teams, by the way, in the power rankings, who are 4-0. And Big Ben is playing well. Their defense is insane. Minka and TJ Watt are game-changing players. I mean, they have a very, very good wide receiver core now with Juju Smith-Schuster in a breakout game for Claypool, and he's looking really good right now. They're an interesting team. They haven't really played anybody too great, but they're an interesting team. I like to watch them. Their offense is a little all over the place. They like a little short passes, Ben's little sidearm wings. slings, I mean. But it's working, and they're 4-0, and they have a big game against the Browns, and that's going to be a huge factor in the AFC North discussion. Number 4, I have the Tennessee Titans, who had a shockingly impressive performance against the Bills on Tuesday night. Tannehill looked very good and is looking very good. The receiving core is strong with A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, and Adam Humphries. Henry is still a beast, and their defense is shut down right now. And I just feel like the Titans are overall they find ways to win. They're a very, very good team. I really like Tennessee. I like them at the beginning of the year to possibly even go to the Super Bowl. Them or the Chiefs out of the AFC. And I just feel like we're seeing the Titans become a really, really good team. They're undefeated. They're looking great. They're the last undefeated team in the AFC. Them and the Steelers are the last 2 undefeated teams in the AFC. And I like them a lot. The Titans, watch out. And number 3, I have the Chiefs, who are 4-1, and they have the best offensive roster and arguably the best Actually, no. They're the best offensive roster in the NFL. And arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, though I do think Russ is better. But Mahomes is easily 2-1. I don't think he's anywhere below 2-1. They took a shocking loss though to an above-average Raiders team on Sunday, which kind of kicked them out of the 1 spot. However, they have a really great team. Their defense is a little scary, as I already said, but they have a really good coach, and they're still a heavy Super Bowl contender. I like the Chiefs a lot, but the best offense in the NFL right now belongs to my number 2 team, which is the Green Bay Packers, who are 4-0. They have the best offense in the NFL. They're averaging 38 points a game, but they've played some really poor defensive teams, like with horrible secondaries, and that by that I mean the Falcons and the Vikings. However, they still took it to the Saints, and they without Michael Thomas though, and their defense is a question. They let up 34 to the Vikings and 30 to the Saints, but their offense is undeniably deadly, and they're interchangeable with my number 1 pick, who is the Seattle Seahawks, with my MVP at the beginning of the season, and right now, Russell Wilson. They're 5-0. They find ways to win, but their defense is just very, very bad. Very bad, especially without Jamal Adams. It's very shaky, but Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the NFL. He makes things happen, and DK Metcalf is turning into a future great wide receiver right before our eyes. We're seeing it, and the Seahawks are 5-0. They have one more win than the Packers, which is really a key push as to why I have them at the 1 spot. They're looking great. I love the Seahawks. I love Russell Wilson. Oh, he's my favorite player on the football team. And they're the 1 team right now for me in the NFL. We're going to move on to my most disappointing team. I do have one this week. I really don't have a most overrated team. If I were to choose one, I'd say the Rams, just because they are 4-1, but they have played 4 NFC East teams. And I'm not saying they're bad at all, but I do think that I just need to see a little bit more out of them. However, the most disappointing team right now for me is the 3-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When Tampa Bay signed Tom Brady and they got Gronk back and they signed all those people on their defense, they moved up as high Super Bowl contenders. However, they just look kind of lackluster, especially with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I mean, the return of Gronk and a good defense. They were highly touted and they look mediocre. Brady has 4 picks, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks, and his arm isn't as strong as it used to be. And they have a big redemption game against Green Bay on Sunday, which I feel like if they win that game, this all goes away. But I don't see them winning that game. I feel like they fall to 3-2. However, if they do win, this all goes away. But after the loss to the Bears on Thursday night, which frankly they should have won, they've just been disappointing right now. All right, let's wrap this up with my picks of the week. We're gonna go over my wins and losses for each team, and then we're gonna go over my 3 gambling sports line picks. The lines I get from Caesar's Palace. All right, let's go through these. I have the football team beating the Giants. I just feel like their defensive line is going to abuse Daniel Jones. I have the Titans beating the Texans. That line has fallen 3 points. I select the Titans to win, but I'd stay away from that game. I like the Colts over the Bengals, Falcons over the Vikings, Patriots over the Broncos, Ravens over the Eagles, Steelers beat the Browns in the game of the week, Bears beat the Panthers, Lions beat the Jags, Dolphins beat the Jets, Packers beat the Bucks, Rams beat the Niners, Chiefs bounce back against the Bills, and the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. And let's wrap this up with my betting, gambling picks of the week so far this season. I'm 4-2-1. And my 3 picks this week, I have the Rams -3 on Sunday night, Green Bay -1, and the Bears +1.5. To be honest, I don't like a lot of the lines this week, but if I had to choose 3 to bet on, these are the 3 I would bet on heavily out of the ones in the week. So Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Please like it and turn that notification bell on if you do. And comment what you want me to talk about next. And if you want my opinion on anything or if you disagree with something I said. And I'm out.